Okay, so I'm just going to be making a tier list off the Game Passes Deathball has available. Most people don't talk about anything besides Jim Toki. I've never seen anyone make a video covering the Aura Game Pass. No one talks about the Colossal booth anymore. The multi pack Game Pass, I've never seen anyone discuss. And then Auto Enchant, people usually just have. They don't talk about when they bought it or why they bought it, they just own it. But I'm going to go through them. I'm rating them off if they make you gems. Does it provide value? Is it actually worth getting for the Robux? We're gonna start with the multi pack. This is like 400 Robux, so you're spending $4 on being able to open 3 packs at once instead of one. The only reason I'd buy this is probably you want to use triple luck on default packs, but don't buy triple luck. Like it's not worth your time. Just it's expensive. If you still have a bunch of Christmas triple X, great, but it's still not worth buying. The only practical use I can see for you wanting multi pack is if you love doing boss fights. If that's something you have a full clan that loves running, or you can just solo it and don't need it, don't need any help, and you win almost every single time, and you do it for hours and hours and hours. And let's just say you build up ridiculous amounts of the packs. Sure, it'll save you grinding time if it's fun and you want it. You have $4 to burn on basically a time sink, like a time save thing. Sure, but for normal players and traders, this isn't worth your time. This isn't going to save you money or make you more gems. It's not going to help because you can, for this same price, you just put it on auto and walk away. Just put it on auto open packs and then go like to the restroom or something. Like you don't need this. It's just a waste of time. And if you had to buy like an extra double luck to cover it, then sure, whatever. But it's not. It's not gonna help you. Just don't. Just don't. Is there any other exception? I would never buy triple luck, so that's not relevant. Double luck you'd buy for packs, but just buy extra if you need to. If it's you're suffering from success if this is starting to become a problem or consideration. So just ignore this entirely. Then Jim Toki. So everyone covered Jim Toki when it was new. No one has talked about Jim. No one that I know of has talked about Jim Toki since. The current state of Deathball changed a lot after they added the AFK aura. The inflation on general items is going a bit ridiculous. Every item has a complete like straight up graph almost with inflation. The market hasn't leveled out on anything since AFK aura came out. I think Divine dipped once, but it's been just shooting up outside of that. So with how bad inflation is, this is just not worth your time, and it's 500 Robux, I believe. It might be 400. Either way, it's not worth it. I'll be explaining why this isn't worth it more, but just play whatever champion you're good at. So ideally you would go into AFK aura for a little bit. Again, if you don't have premium, you don't have the game pass, you do that overnight if you're willing to. And then when you get on, you pop double gem boost whenever you get into lobby, and then go off with whatever your favorite champion is, earn as many gems as possible. Then you just profit, and whatever gems you get, you invest into something that's going to go up. So whatever the current mythics are, buy them. So right now that would be Wrathblade and Rainbow Chaos. So you can run Gem Toki if you really want to, but I'd only recommend it to default mains or people that really like the challenge of that. If you like playing the normal classes and using the abilities, ignore Gem Toki entirely. You're paying to you're basically paying to lose. You should never win a face off playing Gem Toki. There's a massive skill gap if you win on Gem Toki against anyone. They just can't compete with you. Because if you're playing like Saito against the Gym Toki, you have 3 blocks and they have a run. They're, the Gym Toki player is just going to get rolled. So I'm just going to say D. Like, it's an option. Well, I'm going to say D. It's too expensive. If it was like 200 or 150, sure. Even if they made this like, if they started changing this to a gem cost, if they made the champion I don't know, 200k gems, that would be better. Because at least you could re-earn the money by playing the character if you wanted to. But I would just recommend skipping this. I'll explain more why later. But I own Jimtoki because I bought it back when it was useful. I never used Jimtoki. I haven't touched Jimtoki in, I don't know, 3-4 months at least. So just skip it. Auto enchants. So if you love getting dual wield on a bunch of things and you just aren't going to buy dual wield off of people for some reason, which just buy dual wield. If you want dual wield, just buy it off someone dual wield if you can find it. Just keep hopping servers till you find it. I wouldn't really recommend this, but it's something that if you played the game a lot, and let's say you get into the point where you're getting S grades or you're trying to find Enigma or Divine Shadow, there's a pretty good chance you're going to find some really expensive item for a good price, and then you're going to want to put dual wield on it or Flame 3 or something. Like, I got a Tri-Heat S grade. When I got it, it didn't have Flame 3, and I really wanted Flame 3 because it looked cool. It took me, I want to say 600,000 gems to get dual, or not, I think it was at least 300,000 or 600,000, something like that, to get Flame 3 on it. It took way too long, and without auto enchant, I probably would have just wanted to give up on it. So if you get super deep into it, you're probably going to buy this at some point. But if you're newer to the game and you've only played for maybe a month or two, I'd try to get away with not buying this and just buy everything dual wield. And as a side thing, whenever you're going to check prices, go to the wrap index and trade hub, click on whatever item that you want, look at the wrap. I'll do a dedicated video explaining it. But whatever the wrap says for the week or the day or whatever you want to check, realistically you check it for the day. You'd add 50,000 on, and that's the dual wield overpay. If they're asking above that, they're just wanting an overcharge because, again, wrap is recent average price. It isn't anything about, like, they have to sell at that. It's just the average. So it's not most people sell at this. That's the average of the day. And it resets every day at 6 p.m. I'll cover this in another video, but basically, you're probably going to buy it, and this is pretty cheap, so you're going to save a lot of time with this one, and it being relatively cheap. I don't think it's bad to buy, but again, it's a time save. It's not going to make you more money or anything. It's more of there's an annoyance in the game that they aren't fixing, and they're telling you to pay them to fix it. So it depends how impatient you are. I like just having it auto roll and then come back to the game, but I've also played this game for months, so this is kind of up to you. I won't say it's... Arguably it's B if you're like looking to spend money to save time, but I'm just going to say it's C because it's a problem they created. They could just put this feature in for free, but it is what it is. So I'd say C tier. More booth space. So you start off with 10 slots in your booth, and this adds 20. You can't add more than 20. If you're going to AFK and trade hub to sell things overnight, you aren't going to do AFK Aura for some reason because you don't want to buy the Game Pass. Let's say, so if you specifically only have 100 Robux to spend and you really want to trade actively every night because you find it fun and you think the AFK Aura thing is stupid and you just want to trade, then you buy this. Or if you're going to do the AFK Aura thing super committed and you want to be constantly buying things, and then whenever you sell them off, you want it to be fast, you're going to buy this. This is one of the main purchases you should make in Deathball. If you get big into trading, let's say you get anywhere, if you're going to own more than 10 weapons that are of any value over like 100,000, you get this, and it's relatively easy. I think anyone can get to 10 mil that wants to. And that's within a relatively short period of time. I'll be explaining how to do that. It's not difficult. Also, just to be a little extreme, I'm going to put this in A, because you don't need this. You can get away with it, and if you're going to buy one thing, you buy this. You buy the AFK Aura thing. Now, if you're playing on mobile and you can't AFK overnight, or your PC likes to crash a lot, or there's some issue where you can't AFK, then you'd change this around. You'd put the more boost space here. Then you'd probably, I don't know, I'd probably put it here if you can't AFK overnight, because the rate of this is still relatively competitive with playing actively. So even if you're watching a movie or something, if you just leave your game on your phone or something and tap the screen every, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, you can make a ton of gems. Or if you just want to watch some YouTube and on, let's say, your TV, and just tap your phone every now and then, make a bunch of gems, this is really, really good. This is better than buying a gem bundle. So, well, honestly, it's very easy for this to pay itself back. So, even if you have to, or you can't AFK, buy this. Like, you'll use it, I would hope, enough. And all the time you'd spend in Trade Hub asking for someone to give you a free item, or you'd waste in Trade Hub trying to sell legendaries for profit, rares for profit, just use this. It's way better. I'll make a video dedicated to the rates, but you need this if you can AFK overnight. You make, I want to say, with premium, with the Game Pass, and then the gem boost, I'll cover this properly, but you make 4 million a week if you leave it on overnight, which, with inflation being insane, if you invest that 4 million into an item that's going to get removed, so for like the solo pack, let's say you get 10 Wrath Blades every week, those items should double, because generally all of the gem pack mythics have doubled. Like Inferno pack doubled. Like Blaze Heads used to be 500,000, now it's like 1.3 or something, I believe. Tri-Heat's around 1 million. It was 400k when it was current, 380k usually. Inferno was, I think, 500k roughly, or no, it was selling at like 300k ish. It depended on when you're taking the time. It was kind of inconsistent out of the others. Blaze was like the consistent 500k one, but all of those doubled. Oblivion pack was the Gemblade and Olympus Sword, and both of those well over doubled, but those also are very old items. So the AFK Aura is basically, if you want to invest into something and just let it go up, you're set. If you AFK'd for, let's say, a month, so you get, let's just even be pessimistic and say that your thing crashes a ton, so you only get 12 million for a month. As long as inflation keeps going the way it is, which nothing's going to slow it down unless they nerf AFK, then chances are you could be looking at having maybe 20 mil in value pretty quickly, like within the next month after that. So, and that's not doing any effort trading or anything. You go in, buy 10 items, leave it on overnight, and you're kind of set. Well, technically, to make that rate, you need to leave it on 24/7. So it's not exactly realistic, but just leaving it on overnight, you make about 300,000 a night, I believe. I'll go into the math more, but it's a bit ridiculous. And the booth. This isn't the gem booth, and it doesn't have the little aura around it, so it's bad. It's just not worth it. It's, I think, 200 Robux. It's just not even worth mentioning. It's a booth. If you really want the booth, great, but it's a cosmetic, and it's a bad cosmetic. The whole point of the booths is to get people's attention, and this one doesn't do that. Usually the only people that run this are people that like wasting Robux, and they tend not to have good items in their stands. People that have the gem booth tend to know what they're doing with trading, so people just go to the gem booth. So this won't really help you. But yeah, I'll make a video dedicated to the AFK Aura, because it's just ridiculous. But yeah, that's it.